Yeah, very good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you wherever you are. Thank you so much once again for joining me right here on yet another episode of This Is My Story. As it is the norm, my story is His glory, and this is the place we get to share stories and testimonies of what God has done. And if God can do it for someone else, He definitely can do it for you. Sit down, relax, and enjoy this particular episode right here with me, Daniel Anunda. And if you haven't subscribed also, please make sure you subscribe and, of course, hit the notification bell so that you can be the first one to know every time we upload a new video. This day, we have a great testimony. You do not want to miss this. Abana and Malingina, just sit there and relax because we're taking you all the way. Kisumu Dala, mtu natoka Kisumu Dala na kuja Nairobi kupatia sisi testimony yake, an amazing story of what the Lord has done. And there's no situation that God cannot change. Every situation, everything, it doesn't matter what it is, God can change it. He can make you what He wants you to be for His glory and honor. Today we are joined by one Timothy Obili. Is it Obili or Obili?
Obili.
Obili Timothy.
Yeah, Obili.
How are you?
I'm good.
Welcome to This Is My Story.
Thank you.
Just tell us briefly who Timothy is.
Okay, my name is Timothy, the worshipper, but my real name is Timothy Obili from Siaya.
Mtoto ya Siaya. Okay.
Yeah, but my mom anatoka Kisumu. My mom is from Kisumu.
Okay.
Yeah, but my dad is from Siaya, so I'm from Siaya.
Your story caught my eye, rather your testimony about what you have gone through, what you involved yourself in. And I'd like you to take us slowly, step by step, on what happened, that you got into what you got into. At some point, you were involved in devil worshipping and something like such kind of things. Can you just tell us from how it began into homosexuality and all that? Just take us step by step in that particular direction.
Okay. Early 2012, I was having issues with my family back home. You see when people grow and in the family there are so many challenges with the kids, with the children.
Yeah.
So you find someone, another member of family diverting. So I can just say that I was just someone who was growing up so bad. Behaviors were not so good in my family. So when I left my home, that is 2012, and my parents, we had issues then. I just left home. Coming to Nairobi, I came to a friend who was going to host me for me to stay with him for some time. But later things did not work out. He ended up chasing me because of his wife. I had nowhere to go. So being that I have nowhere to go, I found a guy. I met a guy who was willing to assist me, give me somewhere to stay, and at least somewhere I can be for some time as I look for how I can.
How old were you then?
I was, I think I was 19. 19, yeah. So this guy told me he was going to help me, but only if I will be able to sleep with him, or rather him being with him in the house. So he took me to his house.
So this guy gave you an option. If you want him to help you, you have to sleep with him.
Yes.
And stay with him. Did you know this person?
I didn't know him, but we just met in there's a club. A friend of mine, we went to a club, so I found the guy there. So when he gave me that option, I told him, it's fine, I don't have anywhere to go, so you can be able to help me, I will do anything that you want. So he took me home the same night. I was not so sure that the kind of sleeping with him he was asking me to, but at night he ended up having sex with me. Actually, the first time I had sex with a man. As time goes by, the next morning, in the morning, I was feeling so much pain, but because he had decided to help me, he agreed to give me shelter, give me food, give me anything I need. So I said to myself then, I don't think there's anything else I'm looking for. So if he's willing to help me, I will love to give him whatever he wants. Yeah.
So that is how you found yourself in this situation.
Yes.
At what point did you get fully fledged, or did you get yourself fully into homosexuality?
Okay. As time goes by, I began to love it and like it. Later, there's just an issue that came between us. Then he just told me to go. So when I left his house, I still did not have anywhere to stay, but I had some little money that I used to get from him, because also he used to give me some pocket money, some little money for my upkeep. So when the issue came between us, we ended up departing ways. So I left his house. So when I left his house, I went and gained myself a house and find how I can be able to feed myself and do my things. So being that I liked whatever was going on between me and him, I ended up being a prostitute in the same area, so sleeping with men for money.
So you became a male prostitute?
Yes.
A gay male prostitute?
Yes. So that's how I became a notorious gay in so many clubs in Nairobi here. And everything I was doing, I was just seeing it normal, because it's a kind of life that I had said to myself, it's even nice, it's good, even good than suffering. I just had to do what I had to do, and everything was just moving on smoothly.
Now let me ask you, prior to that particular, prior to you engaging yourself in this, I don't know whether to call it character or vice or habit, what was your take about homosexuality or gayism before you found yourself there?
It is something that I used just to hear. But now me going into it, it made me to love it more. And I had nothing to do with ladies. I just made
completely.
Yes, the feeling was not there.
So before that, you were just kawaida, you had interest in women, but later on, after you got yourself involved with this man, all the feelings went.
Yes, it went completely. So even in a way that anytime I could not be able to have a man around me, I would just be able to involve myself in masturbation. You see, it's like you want to do something, but you don't have a man close to you. You feel like you just want to release. So mostly I used to have masturbation for a very long time. Yeah.
What did your parents think about this? Did they know that you have involved yourself in such a situation? I understand your father is a pastor.
Yeah, they were not aware, because when I left home, no one knew. I just left like someone that had nobody. I just left. So when I came to Nairobi, there was never communication between me and them. Until later they came to realize that I'm in Nairobi. They were just hearing rumors that I do such things, but they were not sure. But they have to be frank, they never followed me, or there's no day they made a call to ask how I'm doing or how I'm faring, because I chose my life. Yeah.
So you got yourself, now you're in Nairobi. You left this person's house, you've gotten into clubs. So how was it? What happened after that?
When I was doing the prostitute business, I met a guy. This guy was just a devil worshipper. Then he told me he can be able to help me. By then, we see when I left home, I had little talent on music. So when I met this guy, he met me at the club. Then we talked to him. Then he told me he's willing to help me. Help me in a way that I will never be able to suffer again. So when we left there, he also took me to his house. He was also a gay.
He was also gay. You met in that a gay club, or he was a client?
Yeah, he was just we met in a club. But personally, when we reached his home, he also got open to me and told me he's a gay. So when we were discussing, then he told me he's willing to help me in a way that I will never be able to suffer again. Introduce me to a place that I can be able to get wealth and be someone useful for myself. I said, I might be able to be interested in what you're saying. So what is it about? There is this club that I know they normally meet in a way like they worship the devil and they get a lot of money. So we told
Wait. As in, he openly told you that he worshipped the devil?
Yeah.
Or how did he introduce this? Because mostly when people, I've heard, when people want to introduce others to devil worshipping, they don't just open it up to them. They just take them slowly, step by step. And by the time they realize, they're into this kind of worship.
No, he told me he is in a club. A club. They meet. There are several things that they do, but immediately you've been initiated into being there, one of them, then there's that certain amount of money that you are given. So I bought the idea. So we talked, then he told me that there is only one condition, something that you will be able to do. You will look for a sacrifice. So in the course, being that I hated my parents and I hate my dad, I told them that I will be able to use my dad as a sacrifice.
you already,
Yeah.
you had somebody in mind already.
Yeah.
Because you were not in good terms with your father.
Yes, everything about my parents and I, we were not in good terms. Yeah, so I said it's okay. I will give my father a sacrifice. He was ready to take me to the place where they normally do the initiation the following day. So when the day reached, I was going to town. We were going to town with him. Then there is somewhere he left me, and then he went somewhere. So where he left me, I met a pastor. He's called Pastor Maura. So he just looked at me, then he told me, oh, what are you doing here? Then I opened up myself to him. Then he took me into his car. Though the guy, since he had left, I just moved into the pastor's car. Then he took me to Kasarani and we talked, and that is how I did not involve myself in that.
That is how your father did not die.
Yeah.
That is how your father was not sacrificed, but you were ready to sacrifice him.
Yeah, I was willing.
For you to get well.
Yes.
Okay, and after you meeting this pastor, went to Kasarani, what happened? At what point do you find yourself now removed or saved from this? I don't know. Miss Juangi kama homoni. But I believe homosexuality is a spirit. That is one thing I believe, of which you're going to answer or tell us what you think about it, because you have been there and you felt what you're feeling. Yeah. So after you've gone with this pastor, what happened? At what point did you finally choose to give yourself fully to Christ?
No, he took me to his house and I opened up to him. I told him what I was going to do, and he could not let me go. He could not allow me to go back to my house. So I ended up sleeping in his house. It was on a Friday, one on Saturday, then on Sunday we went to church. So when we went to church, that's how I got the deliverance, and he prayed for me. Then he began to assist me in getting food and buying for me foodstuffs, and where I used to stay, he began to help me and also to pay the rent. So that is how I got to love Christ back. And
Taking you back to homosexuality. There are those who say that homosexuals are born homosexuals, or this is how I am, this is how God created me. Is it true? Is it true that people are born homosexuals, that ladies are born lesbians, that is how they are?
No, it's not true, because it is a spirit. It is something that comes in you. So immediately you allow it, you give it a chance in you, it comes in you and it sticks there. So you find that now you loved women, and now you are diverting, you began to love men. Some go into homosexuality because you find a lady, he used to have a relationship with a lady, and then the lady disappointed, and then he decides and hate all the ladies. So with that, you will be able to divert and go to homosexuality. But even as the way I gave my life to Christ, the way that pastor prayed for me, I still could not leave the spirit. I moved with it, in that anytime I was not with a man, masturbation, I used to do it. It's something that I used, even I would be able to wake up at night, 11, 12 a.m. and do masturbation, because I'm just thinking of what I used to do. I could not overcome it.
And homosexuality, it has its own side effect, I believe. How did you handle that?
Okay,
especially physical side effects, because there's the way God has created us in that area, that for a man is for a woman, and a woman is for a man.
Yeah, I must just say that maybe God helped me. When I was going to check on myself after sleeping with several men, having sex, in fact, there's a day I was drunk, and me and my friends, we were just coming from town. So all the 4 guys, they decided to sleep with me. All of them, they slept with me. So when I woke up in the morning, I could not walk. So I stayed in the house for around a week, but later I just became okay. So I have no effect, apart from that certain thing that actually almost took my life, because I slept, I was just in the house, there's no way I could not go after the incidents. But as time goes by, I got back to normal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you went to church, you prayed for. Take us through the journey of recovery and getting back to a normalcy with women, of course, your feelings for women.
Even after me giving my life to Christ, I still found myself having the feelings of men. I could still have a man sleep with me, even after giving my life to Christ.
So you still involved yourself
Yes,
in the
still
scene?
involved in myself. But as time goes by, I decided just to give my life fully to God and assume that homosexuality exists. I dealt with masturbation in myself to the extent that anytime I feel like I need a man, I could always hold myself very tight. And it cost me a lot of time to be able to forget about whatever was going on in my life and be able to serve God. And it helped me, yes. And here I am. I'm now saved and happily married.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, we'll come to the point where you're married, because it is amazing that you're married and you have a child at the same time. But if there's someone out there, because this issue of homosexuality, lesbianism is so much on the rise nowadays, and there are so many people who are fighting for the issue of gay rights. Oh, we need this, we need to be recognized and all that. This is what God has created me for. Do not judge, do not be the assistant of Jesus. Well, if there's somebody out there, perhaps is going through the same situation you were going through, and we have confirmed it right here, that you are not born homosexual, you were not born gay. It is a spirit that came into you, and you walked towards it, towards deliverance. If there's someone out there who's going through this, how can you tell them that this is what you can do 1, 2, 3 if you want to get yourself off this addiction of homosexuality?
Okay, personally, what actually helped me in getting over all this, I just saw myself getting tired of whatever I'm doing and be able to live right, because this is a spirit that comes into you and it sticks to you. It lies to you that this is the right thing to do. You are like that, you are born like that. No one is ever born or has ever been born with the spirit of immorality. You bring it into yourself.
Can you look at that camera there and tell these guys that no one is born gay. No one is born lesbian, lest they deceive themselves about the same.
Yeah, actually, there is no one that is always born with the spirit of immorality. But this thing comes into you because you've given it a chance. So, unless you get tired that you want to live upright and be back into your senses, it is only you who can be able to give yourself change. Yeah.
Now, through the process, you have been prayed for. You're still flipping in and out of, this addiction. You want to be with a man. At what point did you get a breakthrough?
Okay, I struggled with it for around 6 months. 6 months. With the counsel of the pastor, everything that was going on in my life I used, but I thank God he was someone that loved me. I used to be open to him, telling him that what is going on, even after knowing Christ, I am still battling with this. He used to pray for me, even give me a call at night and pray with me. And I also worked on my own side. But anytime I couldn't be able to think that I want to do masturbation, I just wake up even at night and just go out. Loneliness in the house, I just used to leave the house, you go for a walk. Time you think that you want to have a man, you just leave the house and you go walk, you take a walk. So such like things, they helped me to be able to forget about whatever is going on in my life. Yeah, because I was really tired and I wanted to live the kind of life I was living.
Wow. So unless you get tired of being where you are, unless you get tired of the situation where you are in, you will never get out of that situation. And it is a message to you out there. There are a good number of you, a good number of young men, old men, and I've heard even right now in families, there are men who are married, but they have wives, husbands outside. They are living in the house with their wives, lakini huko nje kuna mpango wa kando, mwanaume mpango wa kando. Hey, chai! God have mercy. And it is something that is happening. But until you get tired of this situation, you can never get out of it. You must have a willing spirit and, of course, allow God to work within you through prayer and fasting and supplication to God. He will help you. Yeah, this is my story. You're here with me, Daniel Anunda, and of course, the great man here, a musician. God has transformed him from being a gay. Right now, he's spreading the word of God in an amazing way on this particular episode of This Is My Story. This is what we're talking about, and I believe it is touching you. Now, we want to get into the point, maybe some of the challenges you faced socially. Socially. What are some of the challenges you face? Did people know that you're homosexual? How did they react? The church you went to in the process of healing? What are some of these challenges that you encountered?
Yeah, in my way to Deliverance, when I shared my story after all this, and we found out that some people in the church, they look down on you. They see you as someone who is so dirty. They gave me the bad side of them, but later everything went back to normal. In my area of being an homosexual, even there are those, like I used to have a friend of mine, he's an evangelist, yes, but he was also a gay. So you find this guy was just all over me. Even after me getting saved or knowing Christ, he still loved me and would still want us to have.
Wait, an evangelist?
Yeah.
Who was gay? A gay evangelist.
Yes.
So those people are there.
They are there.
What does he preach?
That's why I'm telling you, this thing is a spirit. And it's in you.
Alikuwa nakukatia?
Yes. And we even ended up having sex.
With the evangelist?
Yes. Yeah.
Nashindwa cha kusema, yani nabaki mdomo wazi. Because I've heard there are even people who are in the praise and worship team. There's somebody who was, I was talking to this guy, alikuwa ameni inbox on Facebook. Akaniambia, anataka kuniona. Yani alikuwa ananikatia. There's nothing as gross as that. Yeah?
Yeah.
Alafu ananiambia, you are a praise and worship leader. Ananiambia, mimi ni praise and worship leader in my church. And I'm gay. Don't discriminate against us. Tumeokoka. It is how we are born. So that means there are so many people in the ministry or even in the church that are gay. Apart from that, kuna wengine ambao ulijua?
Some of the ministers we used to sing with kwa praise and worship team pia. So many of them. Yeah, but as time goes by, I left the group, so you found out now they are the one looking for you. They are really pressed. Up to now, several of them. There's even a friend of mine who's a lawyer. Yeah, he was also a gay. We've been together with him. So you find this thing does not discriminate. The Spirit is always everywhere, and it comes to each and every person that is interested. Yeah.
So, one thing I wanted to demystify from you today is that homosexuality is not inborn. It is a spirit that needs to be worked on.
Yes.
Just like the spirit of thievery, those who are thieves and lying and all that. All right, now, as we come to the end of this interview, you told me you got born again, you got into ministry, and you even have a wife. Tell me about that. How did you meet your wife? Did she ask you, "Hey, guy, how utarudi konyuma?" Tell me about it.
No, she had no idea of what kind of person I am. So she later just found out for herself when I went to give out my testimony. And that's where she was surprised. So later I went and opened up to her and tell her that was me. I never wanted to share it with you, but I wanted you to hear it. So she did not discriminate me. She just said, it's okay if that's who you are, but I thank God for who you are right now. I'm not looking at what you are. So we got married and we had a wedding on 5th December. That one was last year.
Oh, you got married last year?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yes. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Oh.
Thank you.
That's wonderful. So there's hope. There's hope that even if you have been in this other world, God can change you and bring you to where you are. You also a minister of the gospel?
Yeah.
You sing?
Yeah, I do sing. I'm minister with Jesus Healing Chapel, that is in Komaro, Kayole.
Okay.
And Apostle Ronald Kasule is my pastor. Yeah.
Last question. Is there a time you sit down like this and you feel, or you feel, unaogopa tu, you feel like, what if I drift back to where I was? What if this spirit comes back again? Is there a time you sit down and you fear for that or fear about that?
No. Right now, no. I've just been living my life and serving God. And that is what I do. So there is nothing, no feelings, nothing totally.
The feelings left completely.
Yeah.
And now it's only for your wife.
Yeah.
Huh. Wow, that is great. Thank you so much for coming through. And maybe your last words, final words to those who are watching, ministers, those who are living a double life, who are lying to themselves about this particular issue, and your parting shot, Mr. Timothy.
Being that I've been in that kind of a messy life and you still serve God, but there are those things that you do not knowing that maybe God is watching you, or rather there is something wrong that you're doing. That kind of life, it is not good. Homosexuality is a spirit. It is something you can be able to work on. So as I state, and I still say, you have to get tired of whatever is going on in your life. There is nothing good in immorality. Yeah, so that's what I can be able to say. Yeah.
All right. And did you get in touch? Did you get back to your parents? Are you in good terms with your parents now?
Yeah, even when the deliverance was happening, I had to go back.
Hi.
The pastor himself called him and sent me home to go and ask them for forgiveness, and I did that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for coming through, Mr. Timothy Obili.
Yeah.
It has been an amazing testimony, and of course, demystifying the issue that homosexuality is inborn. God, oh, that is how I am. That is not who you are. Even science has shown it. There is no evidence that there is hakuna jinx za homosexuality. Hakuna jinx that oh, me ni lesbian, oh, me ni gay. There is nothing. God did not create Adam and Abraham. You know, he created Adam and Eve. So if you are going through that situation and this spirit is within you, pray about it. Ask God to remove it from you, and you will see that everything is possible with God. Thank you so much for coming through to this particular show. It is always amazing having new guests, and of course encouraging people out there that God can do something that which no man can do. Hata kama wewe ni ule, unaweza badilika ukaja na ukawa sawa na tuka worship God together. And the most important thing is understand who you are. Get to know where you are and get tired, as Timothy has said, get tired of your situation and change your ways. Come back to God. Thank you so much once again for watching. This is my story right here with me, Daniel Anunda. Until next time, same place, same time. God bless you. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Hit the notification bell so that utakuwa VVIP, muti ya kwanza kaangalia kitu na bandiki bale na beleka bole vitu moto na kuja mbele yako right here on this amazing channel, Daniel Anunda. Otherwise, I love you and God bless you. Bye-bye.